When a table is created, a segment is created to hold its data. A tablespace contains a collection of segments. Logically, a table contains rows of column values. A row is ultimately stored in a database block in the form of a row piece. It is called a row piece because, under some circumstances, the entire row may not be stored in one place. This happens when an inserted row is too large to fit into a single block, chained row, or when an update causes an existing row to outgrow the available free space of the current block, migrated row. Block header. The block header contains the segment type, such as table or index, data block address, table directory, row directory, and transaction slots of approximately 23 bytes each, which are used when modifications are made to rows in the block. The block header grows downward from the top. Row data. This is the actual data for the rows in the block. Row data space grows upward from the bottom. Free space. Free space is in the middle of the block, enabling the header and the row data space to grow when necessary. Row data takes up free space as new rows are inserted or as columns of existing rows are updated with larger values. 1. Expand the storage menu and then select table spaces. 2. Click Create. 3. Enter a name for the table space. 4. In the table space type field, select Permanent. Permanent table spaces store permanent database objects that are created by the system or users. 5. In the Big File field, select Small File. Big File table spaces are used with extremely large databases, in which ASM or other logical volume managers support the striping or redundant array of independent disks, RAID, and dynamically extensible logical volumes. 6. In the Status field, select Online. Online means that users can read and write to the tablespace after it is created. This is the default. 7. Click the blue arrow to add data files to the tablespace. A tablespace must have at least one file. 8. On the Add Data Files page, enter a file directory and file name for the data file. 9. Enter the desired file size. 10. Select Auto Extend to automatically extend the data file when it is full and specify an increment amount in the increment field. This causes the data file to extend automatically each time it runs out of space. It is limited, of course, by the physical media on which it resides. Leave maximum file size as unlimited or enter a maximum size. 11. Click the blue arrow to continue. Block size. This field shows the block size that is used for the tablespace being created. Extent allocation. The extents can be allocated in one of these two ways. Automatic, also called auto allocate, it specifies that the sizes of the extents in the tablespace are system managed. You cannot specify automatic for a temporary tablespace. Uniform, it specifies that the tablespace is managed with uniform extents of a size that you specify. The default size is 1 megabyte. All extents of temporary table spaces are uniform. You cannot specify uniform for an undo tablespace. Logging. The logging clause sets the default logging value for any segment created in the tablespace. Changes made to objects in the tablespace are written to the redo log. If logging is not enabled, any direct loads using SQL loader and direct load insert operations are not written to the redo log, and the objects are thus unrecoverable in the event of data loss. When an object is created without logging enabled, you must back up those objects if you want them to be recoverable. Choosing not to enable logging can have a significant impact on the ability to recover objects in the future. Use with caution. For more details about the logging clause, see the Oracle Database SQL reference. Segment space management. Segment space management can be specified as automatic. The Oracle Database Server uses bitmaps to manage the free space in segments. Manual. This specifies that you want to use free lists for managing free space in segments. Compression options. Data segment compression is disabled by default. Enabling data segment compression can save disk space usage, reduce memory use in the buffer cache, and speed up query execution during reads.
The following tablespaces are created by default when you create an Oracle database. SYSAUX. This is an auxiliary tablespace to the system tablespace. System. The system tablespace is used by the Oracle server to manage the database. It contains the data dictionary and tables that contain administrative information about the database. Temp. Your temporary tablespace is used when you execute a SQL statement that requires the creation of temporary segments, such as a large sort or the creation of an index. UNDOTBS1. This is the undo tablespace used by the database server to store undo information. Users. This tablespace is used to store user objects and data. If no default tablespace is specified when a user is created, then the user's tablespace is the default tablespace for all objects created by that user. After you create a tablespace, you can alter it in several ways as the needs of your system change. Changing the status. A tablespace can be in one of 3 different statuses or states. Any of the following 3 states may not be available because their availability depends on the type of tablespace. Read-write. The tablespace is online and can be read from and written to. Read-only. Specify read-only to place the tablespace in transition read-only mode. Offline. You can take an online tablespace offline so that this portion of the database is temporarily unavailable for general use. Changing the size. You can add space to an existing tablespace by either adding data files to the tablespace or changing the size of an existing data file. To add a new data file to the tablespace, click Add. Then enter the information about the data file on the Add Data File page. You can change settings of a data file by expanding the tablespace on the Tablespaces page, selecting the data file, and selecting the appropriate task in the Actions menu. To take a data file offline, select Take Offline from the Set Status menu. To change the size of an existing data file, 1. Expand the tablespace on the Tablespaces page and select the data file. 2. Select Resize in the Actions menu. 3. Then, on the Edit Data File page, you can change the size of the data file. You can drop a tablespace and its contents, the segments contained in the tablespace, from the database if the tablespace and its contents are no longer required. You must have the Drop Tablespace system privilege to drop a tablespace. When you drop a tablespace, the file pointers in the control file of the associated database are removed. If you are using Oracle Managed Files, OMF, the underlying operating system files are also removed. Otherwise, without OMF, you can optionally direct the Oracle server to delete the operating system files, data files, that constitute the dropped tablespace. Tablespace and data file information can also be obtained by querying the following: tablespace information, DBA_tablespaces, $tablespace, data file information, DBA_data_files, $data file, temp file information, DBA_temp_files, $temp file. Oracle Managed Files eliminate the need for you to directly manage the operating system files in an Oracle database. You specify operations in terms of database objects rather than file names. The database internally uses standard file system interfaces to create and delete files as needed for the following database structures: tablespaces, redo log files, control files, archived logs, block change tracking files, flashback logs, RMAN backups. A database can have a mixture of Oracle managed and unmanaged files. These activities can be performed with Enterprise Manager or with SQL statements. The size of the database can be described as the sum of all of its tablespaces. You can rename or move an online data file from one kind of storage system to another while the database is opened and accessing the file. Queries and DML and DDL operations can be performed while the data file is being moved, including the following: select statements against tables and partitions, creation of tables and indexes, rebuilding of indexes. You do not have to shut down the database or take the data file offline while you move a data file to another location, disk, or storage system. The to clause can be omitted only when an Oracle managed file is used. In this case, the db_create_file_dest parameter should be set to indicate the new location. If the reuse option is specified, the existing file is overwritten. If the keep clause is specified, the old file will be kept after the move operation. The keep clause is not allowed if the source file is an Oracle managed file. Use the $session_longups view to display ongoing online move operations. Each ongoing operation has one row. The state transition of a successful online move operation is usually normal to copying to success and finally to normal.